A very warm good evening. Hello and welcome back. This is Arunava Chaudhuri, and you are live on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It's a Saturday evening. It's 9:46 in India, 6:15, 6:16 here in Germany and Europe. And I'm looking forward to another discussion on Indian football. And of course, it's a day to talk about the decision taken by the AIFF's Player Status Committee. The interim order is now out. So it will be, yeah. And I can at least now say, I said so from day one that this would be the outcome. And I can say this very, very proudly and very, very firmly. I was the only one who said it. All these so-called experts, all these so-called people who thought they knew and they know and this and that and everything, none of them called it out. So therefore, I'll be very arrogant on this one and say, I said it again. It's not the first time, it's not the last time. I'll say something with conviction. If I know the rules, I know the rules. And if I know the regulations, I know the regulations. And this is something, these people are frauds, fraudulent. They only care about themselves. They don't care about Indian football, whatever they say. If you believe them, it's your fault. Sorry to say that. And this will be a show tonight where, I might be going on the one or the other rant, and I'll say a few things which I maybe shouldn't, but it is a reality. There are too many people around Indian football who think that they know things and they know nothing. They're destroying Indian football. They're harming Indian football for self-interest. They don't care about Indian football. If you believe that these people are doing the things that they're doing in the interest of Indian football, sorry to say that, guys, you are fools. And I'll say this very brutally. Because these people are only doing it for one thing, and that is about money and about power and about control. So that's the reality of things. And that's something, if you like it or not, that's the reality of where Indian football stands. And nobody is honestly saying what the reality is. Everyone is playing around with the truths, with the facts. No. If you go through the facts, there is only one truth. There is no interpretation of the truth. And this is what a lot of people are doing at the moment. If you don't know things, just shut up and don't say anything. Just don't create a problem. And that is something which is the biggest problem I feel in Indian football. That there are a lot of people talking, a lot of people sell themselves as messiahs, and I will do this, I will do that. These people have only harmed Indian football. They should be out, they should be exposed, and they should not be in Indian football. And I hope that the AIFF comes down with the strictest of punishments and takes it. The AIFF isn't perfect, but I always say that it is not the AIFF themselves who are the problem in this. It is a question of also of the stakeholder. Every stakeholder in this, which starts from owners of clubs, academies, coaches, players, the fans themselves, the media, everyone has a role to play. That is something which needs to be understood. And that is to be the problem that we have in Indian football, that there are people who are talking, who are saying things without knowing the facts, right? I called out 2 years ago, guys, we are going to get banned by FIFA. The letter was ready. I told this to people. People laughed in my face. I was abused for it by people. Yeah. What happened on the 15th of August? Welcome. These are realities. Hi, Blue. Welcome back. Thanks, Manolo. What to add? And just to go through your tweets, you're right from day one, Godfather destroyed his student career. Yeah, he is. Mohammed Supercham to get big compensation, they can cover the salaries of foreign players with that easily. Let's wait and see what kind of compensation they get, but the compensation will be hefty, and let's wait and see what can be done. Will now Anwar understand that whom he's making Godfather is not actually him? If Anwar had realized that, I think Anwar would have spoken yesterday. And so therefore, that's something he's not realized. So I don't think so. Manoj, if you ask me, I don't think that the player has understood what he needs to do what he needs to do in his own interest. So let's see. PC said not to have to be given is meant Anwar is free to play for East Bengal FC. I don't think so. Because now the second part of this whole hearing will start. Delhi FC will now have to come forward and point out why did they think that the AIFF ruling has changed or had changed, falling back on what FIFA ruling was and is. And then, then the other questions, and the NOC, Mohun Bagan doesn't have to issue the NOC. They can claim further compensation. They will now claim damages from the player and from Delhi FC, potentially also from East Bengal FC, and how it goes for East Bengal FC. Good morning, sir. If East Bengal gets a ban, can they sign Anwar this year, where Anwar is claiming signed for East Bengal? Second, can ban be replaced with compensation, or both ban and compensation to happen? Shomo, to me, ban and compensation will happen if things go the right way. Anwar, I don't think is now open to signing for anything. I think the federation is looking at it and maybe saying, listen, maybe we'll give him a higher fine, and we'll allow him to play somewhere potentially. That is something which is a thought process, and then we'll see what happens. Hi, Ripam. Do you think East Bengal can claim ignorance in the observation service? No, you can't. You've flown somewhere, you've signed a pre-contract. You can't. Sorry. You can't claim ignorance in such a case and say, listen, I wasn't aware. I mean, if I was in East Bengal situation, I've been just thinking about this for quite a while. Maybe I've not spoken about it. If I was in the situation that East Bengal was in, that Delhi FC comes to me and says, listen, this player is available on the market. Do you want him? The first question I would ask them is, but is he your player? He's claiming that he's your player. Okay. You then go to the CRS system, the central registration system, and check what's the status of the player. It's still, that's one. The second one is, if I'm not sure, I call up the players department of the AIFF and say, listen, what's the status of the player? You guys, can you tell us? And then if they're not clear, say, listen, okay, I'll send you an email. Just write back to me officially, formally, what is the status of the player? It's a very simple process. Transfers is not complicated. And if the player status is not clear, why did no other club come forward to sign Anwar Ali? Anwar Ali is one of our best defenders at the moment, right? No other club has officially, formally come forward. So that is something which I still don't understand, which should be asked to those officials of East Bengal. Why did you go for the player? I understand that you needed an Indian centre back. But if the status of the player is not clear, why do you go for such a player? That is the sad part. I think compensation will be more than 10 crores, agree. Manola, I'm not sure, but it looks like it will be. I mean, one part is surely going to be the point that Mohun Bagan will claim the remainder of the 3 years of salaries of the loan fee. They will seek other sorts of compensations, and it'll be interesting to see how that builds. So that's the reality. What if Delhi say we're not involved in this matter? We back off from paying compensation. They can't, because they are the club who have loaned the player to Mohun Bagan Supergiant, and they said, listen, Ranjit has put it out in a tweet. You can't delete that tweet now. So therefore, that's something that is same. Aditya saying, now that Hyderabad's not playing Durant, it's likely that will back off from ISL also. Aditya, I've been saying this for a while, that situation in Hyderabad is not good. Hyderabad does not have a squad. That's one thing. And let's wait and see what happens, right? These are realities. And again, as with everything else, I try and be as honest as I can with things. And I've said this now for a while. As long as there's no investor announcement officially, formally, by the club. Like, for example, Mohammedan Sporting is done with Strategy Group. I don't see, so these are realities. So, still some shameless YouTubers claim it's a loss for Mohun Bagan propagandists. Shan, see, the problem is in Kolkata these days with football. It's become very toxic. And a lot of people live of this toxicity. People don't want to talk about facts. It's not an Indian football problem. I think it's a problem of our times around the world, that you want to believe in what you want to believe in. So the point is, if it was the other way around, the conversation would be the same way between the two clubs. That's the problem, right? We've seen last year the Kerala Blasters, when the coach told his team to walk out, that the fans were supporting that. Where the coach did something which is a no-go. So therefore, this is if we want to be good fans, you have to, if you like it or not, if your club has done something wrong, say it that your club has done something wrong. Be honest. I've written the other day, those of you who know me that I've set up Mumbai City FC and I've worked with Mumbai City FC. Listen, losing 8-0 to Kerala Blasters with your so-called B team or reserve side is not acceptable, period. And there needs to be action on that in some sort of form way after the tournament. So therefore, these are realities. It doesn't matter. And if the truth is the truth, I again say that, if I like it or you like it or not, these days are different. It's not the 90s or the 80s or the 70s where East Bengal, Mohun Bagan and Mohammedan used to pull off these kind of stints of getting in players, putting players away in hotels, taking the token and then, keeping them away for 2 weeks and then signing the players. Players have signed, I know from players that they've signed on blank papers and then suddenly the new contract came in, which was much less than it was in the past. Players have been scammed. Nobody cares, But in this case, the player has done something wrong. The player and the people who advise him have done something wrong. And they sadly then have to be punished. And it doesn't matter if it's a national team player or if it's a small time player. As I've said, when it comes to clubs, look at Hyderabad, how many bans? 10 FIFA bans now, right? But FIFA has also banned Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea. So that's the point. Ranjiv is so arrogant. If you speak anything against him, he will block you and come out with defamation case. It's sad, right? Because if people don't want to accept the truth, then what to do? Pieces that may have to give NOC in letter. I think, Manolo, that is a second step. I think it's a second step because now the question is, until next week, what does Delhi FC come back with in writing, and what does East Bengal come back in writing? Right? How do they themselves justify their actions? Because what I've said from day one, you cannot unilaterally terminate a contract. You mutually need to find a solution. And that happens around the world. There are loads of clubs who are getting rid. So that's the reality, right? So you can't, again, and then you pick out a FIFA rule. I don't know who's come up with that and saying, oh, you know what, FIFA has changed its rule. Yes, FIFA has changed its rule. But they have a transition period till 2025. And old contracts will be valid post 2025, to be very, very clear. So this is something which is being done by a lot of clubs also in Europe. They're trying to cut down on these so-called loan armies. I don't know how many players Chelsea, for example, had on loan around Europe. Man City has a number of players on loan, right? So that's something which is, let's see what happens. If Hyderabad backs out, then a new team will come or a team from I-League will be promoted. Aditya, in my opinion, I don't think any team will come in. I think they will then run an ISL with 12 teams. I think that would be a so that's another reality that I think that is there. 70 people watching, so thanks guys. So many of you are watching it today. Great to see that. And those of you who are new to the channel, please like this video, share it as well, and subscribe to Arunfoot. You know, I'm still a small channel. So let's see what is, you know, let's see. A loan player has to terminate his contract by paying compensation. Shayan, it depends on what you have in the contract or what you don't have in the contract. No, the question here is, what is written. You know, sometimes you sign a player on loan and the loan doesn't work out. So then both sides terminate the contract and there's no money, you know, involved in all of this. So from my perspective, that is something that you can do. Most loan contracts are 6 months, 12 months. Long contracts normally were 24 or 30 months, which is 2.5 years, right? So therefore, yeah, let's wait and see how you can work it out. But you know, so therefore for me, so let's see what happens. So therefore, you know, there is every contract is taken one you know, every contract needs to be handled and looked at separately. Be it a loan contract or be it even a permanent contract. Even if you have a permanent contract, you could also terminate the contract. So termination is part and parcel of football. A lot of players don't stay for the full time, you know, for the duration of the contract. They get either transferred. You know what? A lot of things happen in football. So this is, again, yeah, this is not something special. Yeah, Rohit, a lot of people are watching it tonight. Thanks a lot for that. Inno says only compensation, no ban. Inno, the case is not over. So that's something which I feel is going to be very interesting. Hi, Guardiola. If AIFF imposes no ban, it settles for lesser money, like 3-4 crores, and then Inca will approach any player and will treat the fine as a transfer fee, then there will be pandemonium. Guardiola, I think that if anything of these things happen, and I take Manolo's question as well, Ashish Negis's ban will not happen given he's an India international. Manolo, if that happens, then it might happen that then Mohun Bagan could go to FIFA. You know, so I know you know. So for me, the situation as it stands is, I think the PSC understands that if they don't take the right decision, the matter goes to FIFA and then they get exposed. And then the AIFF will get a rap on their fingers and say, listen, why didn't your PSC call out, you know, this case? Now with the ban, difficult, you know, difficult not to do it without the ban, because yes, you could say, you know, it's the AIFF is doing it, so to say, in its own interest. But then if Mohun Bagan take it to FIFA, he will get a ban, right? And then that could be a longer ban for him. So therefore, the AIFF PSC needs to be wise in its decision also. That's why they're taking their time. And again, this case is far from over, because now Delhi FC and East Bengal are being made party to this thing. There will be another hearing. When is that hearing? So let's see what's going to happen or not. Hi, notes to myself. I still remember they referred to specific word unethical deal. You're the only person who predicted that reality first in India. Mason, I believe you're the best. Thank you a lot, notes to myself. As I said, it doesn't matter which club we're talking about. If the club does something wrong, it needs to be called out. You know, that is again, and I would even say it, you know, if it's Mumbai City, if it's Punjab FC, you know, clubs that I've worked for, I will call it out. You know, that is, if you know, and so that's the reality that we have. If people like it or not, these are the realities. This is how we need to handle this whole thing, and this is where it needs to go. This is where it needs to go, where we need to be talking about the facts and not what people, how they interpret the law. This is another thing that I say. Indian football has a governance problem, you know. So therefore, yeah, let's see what happens. I think compensation will be at least 7 crore. as that is left in the contract. Mumbai appeal, that's less than 5 crore. I think. Let's see, Blue. Let's see what happens. But 7 crores, I think if I add up the numbers, I think it would be more, but I might be wrong. YouTube algorithm sending more people to a live discussion. Yes, Rohit, that's good to see. It's not a great deal for you to pay such a huge compensation transfer fee to Delhi FC and Anwar Ali for acquiring, right? Ripam, to me, it's the approach is wrong. You fell into a trap, I would say, of Delhi FC that you were most probably told, so therefore, it's not a smart deal. It's not a wise deal. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, please subscribe and that's something. Can you please tell how AIFF could allow the duration of Anwar's loan deal till 2027 when according to new FIFA guideline all loan deals has to be sorted out by 2026 is something fishy. Again, and this is another thing, where there is no problem, people look for a problem. This applies only once the new rules and regulations are in place in regard to loan deals. This is an old deal. So at that time, again, 4-year loan deals are an exception. I don't see many of these. As I said, 2 years, 2.5 years are longer ones. Yeah? So therefore, these are the realities. So therefore, there is nothing fishy in this. If you want to find something fishy in this, there is other problems in Indian football, but this one is not. What's your thoughts on our performance in Premier League Next Gen Cup? It's like our youngsters don't have enough composure in a hurry that affect their decision making. First of all, Aditya, they are not youngsters. We are playing against kids, right? We're playing with men against kids. So it's shameful. The results are shameful. Let's take it as that, right? People are trying to sell it as a success, and it's been a failure all through. This is, so for me, it's a lovely PR initiative of the Premier League, but this kind of a tournament exposes how bad our young players are compared to some of the best in the world, and we're not even playing the best, right? We're not playing the Man Cities, the Arsenals, the Chelseas, the top academies in England. We're playing against sort of the B grades, East Bengal officials have no morals. They got banned and passed for the same reasons, so it is expected of them. Guardiola, don't single out East Bengal officials. Most of the officials handle in this way. Morals, not only in India, around in world football, very few have. A lot of people don't have that standard because they only care about winning. For how doesn't matter. Because my question to all these clubs is, after what Mumbai City said about the medicals, how is Anwar Ali still playing? That is another question that we should be asking, right? Because I know from a number of doctors that the player should not be playing. This is the question you should ask. Hi, Rachit. So can you please explain in short about what's happening with Anwar case and what we can expect to happen in the future? See, the Anwar case is very simple. That I said from day one, the player terminated the contract unilaterally. So one-sided, both sides didn't mutually agree to a termination. Then Delhi FC was looking at means and ways of finding a loophole of how to terminate the contract. And the only issue in this is not that the player wanted to leave. Let's be very, very clear. What is the issue in this Anwar Ali case? There's one. There's only one issue. And that is about money. That's about greed. That the player wanted more money because he realized that the new players who are coming into Mohun Bagan Supergiant were earning more. Especially when Apuya came in, he realized, oh my God, look at how much money Apuya is earning. Right? These are realities. And Anwar will get a hefty fine. He'll get a penalty, a fine from the federation. That's for sure. Mohun Bagan will get from him and Delhi FC compensation. East Bengal is an interesting case because normally if you have a pre-contract and you're not allowed to talk to the player, that normally leads to a fine as well as a transfer ban. At least it, most likely in this case would be a 2-window transfer ban. Anwar normally would get also a ban, but I think what I understand is that the AIFF is trying to be a little lenient on him because he's a national team player. So the question then is, does Mohun Bagan then go to FIFA? You know? So therefore, this is all what the PFC needs to consider. When do you think Anwar can play, so especially after putting livelihood, etc., factor in front? Shomo, to me, the question is very, very simple. Anwar Ali is not a small-time footballer somewhere in India who's living off, I don't know, 5,000, 7,000, 10,000 rupees. Right? He comes from a humble background, no doubt about it, but he's earned in crores in the last few years. So if the AIFF says that it's about his life, that to me is a joke. Right? I have said in the last few days, I challenge any Indian footballer to come to my German hometown of Remscheid and try to play here 6th division with my hometown team, FC Remscheid, or our other hometown team, SS4 Bergsporn. You'll get 300 euros. Let's see how good you are. Can you play in Germany? None of them will play. So then I ask the question is, we can have a philosophical discussion. Do they deserve the money they receive? No, they don't. Simple answer. So that's what I'm saying, that if the AIFF does not take the right decision, this whole matter will go to FIFA. And I'm sure that Anwar's side will go FIFA. Don't you think in all the saga, India might be losing a very good centre back? It looks like who saved Anwar? Unfortunately, he's the person who's going to screw his career as well. Diptoraj, the question I am asking to start off with his heart condition, should he be on the field? I'm going back to a question that Mumbai City answered a while back and said no. So there's a question for Goa, for FC Goa, for Mohun Bagan, and now for East Bengal to potentially answer is, should he be playing club football in India with his heart condition? That's another question that nobody's willing to ask. I'm asking this. Let's have this conversation in a while. This Anwar saga at least unleashed the true face of many individuals whom we thought the savior of Indian football. Guardiola, I've said this. Yes. The so-called saviors of Indian football are the destroyers of Indian football. The people who do the good work are not at the forefront. You don't even know the people most probably who do good work in Indian football. You see people doing these Twitter wars. I didn't bother about doing this. I've been doing this a little over a year because I realized I think I need to talk in public. What is happening, what is not happening, what I think is true. But again, I'm not telling you everything that is happening, to be very, very honest. I cannot be telling you everything that's happening because it is work related and I have trust in people. Or people have trust in me that if they tell me something, that I maintain that trust. That to me is very, very important. Mumbai planning to make a serious domestic signing before the transfer window ends. How true is this? Rachit, they're in the market. Mumbai City is in the market. Let's wait and see if they can do it. If mutual termination does happen, then who has to pay whom and how does it happen in Europe when it's a mutual termination case? What's a very, very clear is the question is which side wants to end the contract. So if a club wants to end the contract, they would either have to fully pay out the player or, normally you don't fully pay out. You normally say, listen, you've got X period of, it doesn't matter if it's a full contract or if it's a loan contract, you work out something. The other way would be the same, that the player then normally gets some sort of compensation via the signing club to pay the loanee so for example, you've got this whole situation. Let's take an example. Xavi Simons, the Dutch midfielder, right? He's a player of Paris Saint-Germain. He was on loan at RB Leipzig last season. Before that, he was on loan with PSV Eindhoven in the Netherlands. PSV Eindhoven still hold some sort of transfer rights on the player. Bayern Munich wanted to sign the player, right? So if Bayern Munich wants to sign the player, he still has a contract with PSG, so he has to pay X amount that PSG wants. A certain percentage would go to PSV Eindhoven as well. But now the player said, you know what? Maybe for me, it's better for my development if I spend another season on loan with RB Leipzig. And it looks at the moment that the player might be going back to RB Leipzig for another loan season. So PSV Eindhoven potentially unhappy because they're not going to get a fee. And you know, this is how the transfer business works. And it sometimes can get complicated because there's a lot of players. Another Dutch player, Joshua Zirkzee, who was at Bologna last season. Bayern Munich have a 50% signing on fee of the transfer. So Man United, the half of the money that they're paying to Bologna goes from Bologna to Bayern Munich. So there are different models that you can work around with these transfers. Sir, any chance that Mohun Bagan got a ban? Ashish, why would Mohun Bagan get a ban? What did Mohun Bagan do wrong in this instance? You know? So, okay. Anwar went behind money and he has to pay money. Life comes at you like this. Manoj, that's the point. That's the point. Thanks, Rachit. Rachit, if you somehow can reach out to me, then if you could help me with that, that would be great. Just try and reach out to me, info@arunfoot.com, and then we'll that would be great. So now East Bengal is getting Anwar, but the question is at what cost if they have to pay 7-8 crores and a transfer ban, is it worth of a deal? No, it's not. Again, it's not. This is the problem that I think East Bengal acted too fast. And I said earlier, right, East Bengal did not do its homework in this case. In my opinion, again, in my humble opinion, East Bengal could have, should have handled this case differently. When I say, look at the status on the AIFF's central registration system, the AIFF CRS, talk to the players department, and then send them a mail and ask them, guys, what's the status of the player? So therefore, yeah. So therefore, for me, it's not wise. East Bengal has done a lot of things right in this window. A lot of things right. The weaknesses of last season, So that's the thing which I find very sad for East Bengal. For all the things you've done right, you've signed a top striker in Diamantakos. In Mehdi Talal, you've signed one of the best playmakers in the league, right? In Hector Juste, you've signed a very, very solid centre back. Jackson, one of the best defensive Indian midfielders. So you've plugged a lot of the holes which were there, which were visible last season. Yes, East Bengal needed a good Indian centre back, but most of the teams in the ISL need a good Indian centre back, right? So this is something where I say is if East Bengal strategically tried to do something, they jumped on that opportunity, I think, too quickly. If they had waited and say, listen, Anwar, sort it out with Mohun Bagan, we're ready to sign you. If you are on the market, if Mohun Bagan is willing to terminate your contract, we will sign you. But you cannot have that conversation with him. You can only indirectly have that conversation with Delhi FC. Either face-to-face or on a phone, but you can't have it formally because the player is still a Mohun Bagan contracted player until 2027. You can start talking to a player about potentially joining a club 6 months before the end of a contract. And he has a long-running contract with Delhi FC until 2031. That's another thing that needs to be looked at. How did that happen? When a biggest club in India like Mumbai Supergiant, Mumbai City FC are failing to produce a good youth team, it's disappointing. Aditya, yes, but it's a reality. Not in India, but in a lot of countries that top clubs not very often, I'd say, but rather say that here and there they do not produce top level players. So this is not the first, and this will not be the last time you see in some country that the top clubs are not. Normally, you have the mid-level clubs. They see how the Blasters are now producing players. I think FC Goa hopefully will slowly start producing players. They're doing a lot on BFC. Hopefully, spend a lot of money on their youth. But the problem in India is that the next generation needs to be better than the last, and I don't see that at the moment. The next gen cup is a very, very good sign. We are not progressing. That is the problem. Hi, sir. Is AIFF in danger for not implementing the law of FIFA regarding loan transfer? If any of the parties go to FIFA, will the contract done between Delhi FC and will come in question? No, I am. Because there is a period of 3 years to implement this loan deal. The new loan deal regulations. So again, this doesn't work. Can Anwar claim any reputation damage against Mohammed Supergiant? Mohammed official social media team and used Anwar's.ai image on social media and trolled him badly. Yes, I know, but it was turned down yesterday by the PSC. It was not even put up. Because again, this is something, it's wrong, no doubt about it. There should be no question about it, what the Mohun Bagan social media team did. And I think this is something that we need to try and understand in Indian football, which I think the social media teams of all the clubs need to be made aware of even not even clubs, I think even of the AIFF or state association, whoever, that there needs to be a certain etiquette. There needs to be a certain standard, right? Difficult. Look at what the Argentinians did when they're chanting against the France, and look at what happened last night at the Olympics between France and Argentina, right? And again, in Argentina, you see that the Argentinians are not even understanding that they're being racist. They're fine with being racist. So that is the thing, right? It's something that needs to be in your brain, your understanding. Indians also need to understand when you call East Bengal club or East Bengal fans Bangladeshis, that is racist. That is wrong. There needs to be a social conscience, and a lot of things need to be discussed. If people are talking about, some of the people talking in the way they're talking about Mohammedan sporting, that is communal, that is racism. That understanding needs to be there. What Mohammedan is facing, sometimes, not right. What the Mohun Bagan social media team has done, wrong, absolutely. Mohun Bagan Supergiant official or Mohun Bagan athletic club officials need to talk to us and say, guys, not happening. And if they have the guts or something bigger, and if they have the standard, the ethical standard that I expect from such an institution, you would go out and say, sorry, it was wrong. Saying sorry once in a while should not hurt you. Can you please tell how I could allow the duration on this loan deal? Indonesia, I've said that the old deals are not affected. So it doesn't matter. My time is confirmed that Anwar will not be playing for Mohun Supergiant. Yeah, I mean, if it was possible for him to play, I think yesterday he could have opened his mouth when he was asked, "Would you like to play for Mohun Bagan? Yes or no?" And he didn't open his mouth. He let his lawyer speak. Right? That's the other problem. Hyderabad holding some players in contract jail despite they're going to be dissolved sooner than later. They should sell them for a reasonable amount and not win players season. Aditya, yes and no, because I think Hyderabad are still trying to somehow put a team together. Therefore, they want Abdul Rabi and some of the others. They want to, that's something that they're working on. It's not the perfect scenario, but I think if they somehow can create something as a team, they're doing it. Can East Bengal back off saying Delhi misinformed them? Though I think today at Anwar made it official that his contract it's very difficult to back off now. There is no back off. That's the problem, right? As I said, East Bengal, in my understanding, to me, they just handled it wrongly. As I said, East Bengal has had, I think, the best transfer window of their ISL stint so far. Yeah? And that's not good enough. East Bengal is an institution as well. It's not some chota mota club somewhere. it should be held at a higher standard. And this is something which you can ask about Mohun Bagan, you can ask about East Bengal, a lot of other teams as well in this league. Yeah. "12 teams seems nice." Shoptashi, yeah, that's something which looks likely to happen at the moment. It is sad, but this has been coming. And this is a question that needs to be asked to FSDL and the AIFF is, why wasn't action taken earlier? Right? To me, that is something that one, this should have been solved in the summer before the season started. And this is something which is a problem. Thanks, Blue, for saying this. Yeah, please, again, I'm trying to read all of it. I might be a little late in taking your questions, but just post it once. I'll try. And if you're being, there are some rubbish stuff, racist or whatever, I'm not going to take it, right? So, yeah, please do that. Still, a lot of people don't want to accept that the concerned loan rule hasn't been implemented by AIFF. Yeah, but Rupam, that's the problem, right? If it doesn't go in your club's favor, you're going to say it's not right. That's what I'm just saying. If I like it or not, right? This is the real problem. Anwar is saying he's a East Bengal player. For East Bengal get a transfer ban, even if Anwar's pays compensation, he won't be able to sign for East Bengal, or he's signed with East Bengal has been already done, will have validity. No, because the problem is before Anwar can play for East Bengal, earliest I see in 2025, if not in early 2026, depending on when East Bengal gets its transfer bans. And if Mohun Bagan wants to drag it, they can drag it. Again, Mohun Bagan can put it forward to FIFA, right? And the thing is, I think Anwar's side will also not accept it. So this matter will surely go to FIFA. So I don't think the matter will be solved. Sorry. If this matter is not solved within this month, then yeah, let's wait and see how many windows it will take for Anwar to sign for East Bengal. Anwar will not play for Mohammad Superjan, that's for sure. Yes, Rahul. Sir, I agree. Most loans are 1 year max, but there's no higher boundary. Someone didn't do anything unlawful, right? If both parties agree, there's no problem. Yes and no. Normally, contracts can be a maximum of 5 years. Again, we saw last year that Chelsea stretched some of the transfers and some of the transfer fees into sort of 7-8 year contracts, and those loopholes have been closed. So therefore, to me, you have to have a longer contract with your parent club than your loan contract. So that is a question which has to be asked to Delhi FC is, how does he have a contract till 2031? So Delhi FC has another problem coming up potentially for them. How does he have a contract? Normally your max contract is 5 years. And that's independent of the whole loan contract limitations of only 12 months. If another ISL club is willing to pay the compensation, can they sign Anwar? For example, if Mona wants to do a swap deal with Karabasas, can we ask for Anwar Ali? AK 3814, in theory, yes. But the player is saying I'm an East Bengal player. Does AIFF data on how many kids are playing in the baby leagues across the country year by year? Any data collection happens in April by grassroots? Rohit, there are some numbers with the AIFF. I don't think they've shown it publicly. But they have that data. Yes, they have that data in Dana's. When I plan to come Kolkata, Shan, most probably later this year. Sir, why Crystal John there as a referee in India, one of the top referees? Please give him more time. I-League can correct his mistake. 2 games, same mistake in Duran Cup. Amal, referees is a discussion, but I'm not going to go into that discussion. I've seen referees at the Euros which were even worse. So therefore, stop talking about Crystal John. Seriously. I've seen howlers at the Euros which, with VR, give the guy a break. Sorry. Daily contract till 2027 will only... No, my time, he has a contract till 2031. So that's the question, right? He has a follow-on contract. That should be the question that needs to be asked. Sorry. A high average foodie. I see Hyderabad getting demoted to third division and that possible shutdown similar to Bodo due to owners not spending money. Average foodie, first of all, the ISL relegation format is not there. They're a franchise. They're not a club like Girondins de Bordeaux. So to me, if Hyderabad don't play ISL, Hyderabad is most probably going to fold. That's the sad part. When Anwar signed with Eastern University was not given by Mohun Bagan Supergiant on that ground. Also, a signature might not be. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. Will FIFA encourage a 4-year loan deal? I don't think so. Again, you see that FIFA wants shorter loan deals. They want to ensure that again, we've had this thing, especially with top clubs in Europe having 15, 20 players on loan somewhere or the other, right? Because they try to develop the young players, and if they're not going to be good enough for the first team, they loan them out to smaller teams, and then try to make it, try and get something max out of it. So for me, for me, it doesn't make sense. If the rules are the way they are, you have to change the ruling in generally on what's happening or not happening. Gordon, how do you see the moral of more social media and when they morph image of an individual or declare their players extension as possible? Manok, as I said, that's not in good taste. Do you think cases like Anwar will happen more in future? If yes, then who to blame, club or third party? MCFC Extras, this will not be the last case and it will happen in this way. So for me, that's a sad reality of things. To me, the question is who's going to react and who's going to take that action. I think it could be a club to instigate a player to try and force a transfer through. It could be via the agents, it could be via his representatives, family, whatever. So this will happen, yes, surely. Hi, Orithro. Isn't it a win situation for EB Anwar as an interim NOC? So as long as the case is on, he plays potentially for East Bengal, then will 20 crores pay tomorrow, or will boil down to 2-3 crores as no centre back. Orithro, East Bengal is likely to get a transfer ban, right? So that to me, I think is somewhat of it will happen. It will not boil down to 2-3 crores, that's sure. And Anwar normally should not be immediately playing. If that happens, again, I say, whatever the outcome, this will go to the next level. And I think for Anwar's side, my advice would be, if anyone was listening or understanding, I would not go to FIFA, because if this goes to FIFA, the punishment likely is going to be harsh on you. In India, at least the AIFF PSC might be thinking, you know what, Indian national team player, we shouldn't be, that's something. When can Mohun Bagan director give NOC after they receive the compensation? After the case is first of all sorted. Yeah, that's the first part. And the second part would be, yes, they receive the compensation from all sides involved. And then yes, they can give the NOC, but then the player also and whoever is involved and has fines has to pay those fines to the AIFF. And then let's see what kinds of other restrictions, bans come into play. According to you, what is compensation range for our understanding? Blue, I've said it from the start. I said 8 to 10 crores would be most probably realistic range of compensation. The team which has gobbled up the poison offered by a cunning and greedy Ranji is destined to see the consensus. Not so myself, that's the sad part, right? If MBSG go to FIFA, what will happen? Dilip, it depends on what outcome. Let's wait for the outcome at PSC. As I said, I think both sides will go to PSC. I think the question is will Anwar get a suspension or not? And I think on that front, it seems to me that the PSC might be thinking, let's give him a heavy fine. Let's compensate Mohun Bagan for it. But let's not ban him. right? But the banning is part of the whole process in some sort of form way, because the player needs to understand, for that. And if they go to FIFA, Anwar is most likely going to get a ban. Is my reading is, as I said from the start, this is whatever is available and how the case has been going on. It was clear to me when on the first day I saw it. This is a clear cut and shut case, right? All the discussions that have happened of so many people who think they know and understand things, no, they don't. This is why Indian football where it is, because people don't understand governments and don't. Again, you read the rules and regulations, and again, either they can't read or they don't have the brains. Sir, for me, East Bengal needs a better fullback more than a centre back. Shaptashi, that's also a point, right? With injuries now coming in, interesting also is what the injury of Clayton. Is he really fit enough, or do you need another foreign striker to replace him? There's a lot of questions on those fronts. So if Anwar was free and on the market and you could sign him, that's a good signing for you. Again, yes. But also, I want to continue to raise the topic of the heart issue, which seems to have been forgotten by a lot of people. That to me is the moral of the story. They're there, East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, FC Goa are all in the same club. Where you don't care about the health of the player, you just care about yourself. 3 of the biggest franchisees clubs in India don't seem to care about the health of a player. Very nice. Very, very nice, guys. Hi, Sanskar. What happened in Anwar deal? Many of this saying Anwar almost gone. And see, this is something, let's wait and see. Read. Again, I think a lot of people aren't able to read these days. Just read the interim order. Even if he tomorrow goes to East Bengal, will he be able to play for East Bengal? He can't go to East Bengal. He's going to get a ban. I would be surprised if East Bengal doesn't go for a ban, doesn't get a ban from the AIFF. Because then again, as I said, I also think that this case will go to a higher authority. And if they go to private courts, whoever does, I think then FIFA needs to step in and ban these people and throw them out of football. Because that is one thing that all these people, in their lack of knowledge, really don't seem to understand. Biggest problem in India. Do you think going to FIFA, Anwar can prove this contract just cause? I think they will be much more strict. If Anwar goes to FIFA, he's going to get a tougher judgment than from the AIFF PSC. Because the AIFF PSC is going to be a little bit friendly to their own player. Does FIFA know who Anwar Ali is? No. The FIFA transfer guys, they will not know who an Indian player is. You could, maybe they would know who Sunil is, but after that, do they know an Indian player? They don't need to know. Anwar for them is an XYZ player registration number in an Indian football system. They will go by the rules. And they will be stricter. Dilip, to me, Mohun Bagan needs to wait what the PSC says in its final verdict. The verdict today is in Mohun Bagan's favor. Let's be very, very clear. It is what I said from the day one. The player unilaterally has broken the contract. And now, as it says, I don't know if you read it properly, it is not a question of if Anwar was right or wrong. Anwar was wrong. He has been proven that he was wrong to terminate the contract. Period. There is no interpretation. That is the reality of Anwar Ali has broken his contract with Mohun Bagan Supergiant. Period. Now it's the question of what will be the level of compensation for Mohun Bagan Supergiant from the player and from Delhi FC. And East Bengal has been made a party to this case. Could potentially East Bengal also be made to compensate Mohun Bagan? Illegal approach of a player, transfer ban, AIFF fine. That's the route. So therefore, for me, again, from Anwar's side, it makes no sense to go to FIFA. If Mohun Bagan is not happy with the punishment meted out, they can go. We should thank Premier League for not arranging 90-minute Premier League Next Gen Cup. Otherwise, our team could have conceded more than 5 goals every match. By the way, 4 years ago, our champions defeated Man United. What happened to them? Nothing. What happened to them? Some of the boys are playing, but again, younger age groups. I think was it 4 years ago? I think it was 5 years ago. 4 years ago would have been COVID. I think 5 years ago, and that was I think wasn't it an under 14 tournament? So there, I think the difference isn't that much. But the reality is, Aditya, you're very right. Those 50-minute matches are fine. If we're playing 90-minute matches, we would lose every game. And we're playing as under 18s. Are we playing in every match against the best team of those clubs? Are we playing the best boys at Aston Villa? Are we playing the best boys at Crystal Palace, at Everton? Simple question. I don't think so. They're mixing up their teams. Anwar signed with Mohun Bagan under 27. While doing that, his contract with his parent club was under 20. There is a dispute as well. Moinok, he supposedly has a contract till 2031. So there, again, Delhi FC could get in trouble for that, not Mohun Bagan. Mohun Bagan, if that's been cleared, then that one is on the AIFF, but Delhi FC is in trouble for that. What do you think, how other clubs are looking at Anwar's saga? Is East Bengal terrorists who have lost their face value to them? Guardiola, I will not say anything in regard to that. To me, very, very simple is there are few entities in the ISL who have some sort of morals, and those clubs have proven it over the years. And most of the clubs don't have morals. If they see the player is of value, they will sign him. It's like, players in Europe who have been signed despite, suspect character, right? So that's the reality. I think Mohun's also lost face value in this whole saga. Mohun should also get compensated in this regard. I don't think so, Blue, that will happen that much. What's the face value loss, right? But do you think any clubs will go for Anwar in this transfer when of these Mohun contract ends? No. If anyone was interested, they would have tried to figure out. And again, those guys working at the other clubs most probably were smarter and decided, listen, let's not get into this. There were other teams interested in the players, supposedly. Did ISL improve our national teams? And the ISL main aim was to improve national team players. Average foodie, if you think that the aim in 2014 was to improve not national team players, it was to improve Indian football. That's what Mrs. Amani said in 2014 in meetings that I was there, right? Have they improved national team? No, they haven't. Has Indian club football improved? Yes, that has massively. But Indian football, has it improved? No, it hasn't. So therefore you have to distinguish how good is a league, how good is your national team. This is something which needs to work together, but I said this multiple times, right? It's not working the way it should. So therefore, this is something which needs to drastically change. That is something which I feel is something which is, this is something which is very, very difficult and very challenging, right? Challenging in a way that we need to find solutions to that. So therefore, let's wait and see. So let's wait and see where this all goes, and therefore it is one of those issues which needs to get sorted somehow. So therefore, let's see what happens with the future of Indian football, Indian club football. The national team is a problem, and I hope Manolo is able to sort some of things out. Again, the process was not right in my opinion, but let's wait and see. And those of you who are watching, like this video, share this video, and let's grow the community. We've got 33 likes. Maybe we can get it up to 50 today, and 1,394 people following. So thanks a lot for you, those of you who've subscribed, and maybe we can get it to 1,400 today, as I try to grow my channel. And as I always say, I try to be as honest, clear cut as possible. And follow me, support me. Let's grow the community. Let's grow the community of people who really care about Indian football, who want to really do something good for Indian football. I try to do that. Most of the things that I've done over the last 25, 26 years, I will never speak the word. I know what I've done for Indian football or what I've fought for Indian football. But at the moment, it is very, very embarrassing. If I speak to people here in Europe, it's an embarrassment. I get it in my face. I sometimes feel like crying, really, what people think about Indian football at the moment. It is really, I hold my head in shame. That is something which none of these people in India ever face. They live in their bubble, in their world, and whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, you guys are harming Indian football. Either do it properly or just leave, get out of it. This will not work. Simple message from me tonight. Mumbai lost Fazwa. They're out of a key player in their plan. Yeah, but Dripam, that is something that will not get compensated. I think the relationship in the Kolkata clubs may be an all-time low, should be respectful to each other. Blue, it is a huge problem because I think the fan bases are getting radicalized. If you think that the small derby in the CFL where there was trouble at the metro station might be a precursor to what might happen around ISL games, I am fearful that there might be full-scale violence. And this is something where both the clubs, the officials of the clubs, the stakeholder of the clubs need to come forward and need to cool down the rhetoric. People on social media, the so-called content creators, need to cool down the rhetoric. It is very, very dangerous. And then afterwards, if someone gets seriously injured or someone, in the worst case, even someone dies, then they'll start finger pointing. But no one is warned in this. Again, as I say, I don't want to have this because that again will go around the world. That will be embarrassing for Indian football. The Kolkata derby is one of the biggest things we have in Indian football. And it should be, have banter, make fun about each other, not a problem. But this aggressiveness needs to go out. Be aggressive for 90 minutes. But after 90 minutes, we always say here in Germany, for 90 minutes, be enemies. After 90 minutes, you should be able to shake your hands. Here we say you should be able to have a beer afterwards. In India, maybe it's something else. But you should be able to discuss. And this whole Anwar issue is a good example that if you're on this side, you look at it this way. If you're on the other side, you look at it that way. And to me, there is one truth. There are not multiple truths. So also choose the people that you follow your news, your information on Indian football. People are instrumentalizing fans with viewpoints where they're lying. They're lying for their own interest. These people are making money of it. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Support Indian football. Support your club. We are 100% support of your club. But if your club does something wrong, call it out. I know that in your own fan base, you might not be popular at the start, maybe, but down the road, So that's the reality. Which one thing annoying about Indian football which you keep on saying? The people, Murali, the people I just spoke about. We've done that. Mullah, we've spoken about the update. Said, are there any good Indian side for so late in the window? Yeah, potentially, yes. Again, if you're looking, you will not find the perfect centre back, right? We have a problem in players. That's why is the fight on for these few players? Why is there a fight on a Payo? Why is there a fight on a Jigson? Why are people going to look at trying to sign Vibin maybe this window, surely next summer from the Blasters? Because we have a problem with our players, right? So then you have to fall back. Either you have a plan B and say, listen, Preetam Kotal comes back as a sort of son of the soil. Or maybe again, they're all, Mumbai City is looking for an Indian centre-back. Mohun Bagan is looking for an Indian centre-back. And East Bengal, if they don't get Anwar for now, they might be also still in the market. So that's the difficulty. If Anwar hates Mohun Bagan Super Giant, why the hell is like all the training pictures just today back? Guardiola, there's no logic to this, what footballers like or don't like, what they like on social media. Again, you guys read too much into these things, right? In Europe also they talk, oh, you know what, this player is following that player. That's why he's going to go, or the other player might transfer here. Or listen, keep it simple. Keep it simple. But if he comes back, does Mohammed take or not? He's not going to come back. Sanskar, that's done. That's khatam, finished, period. He's not going to go back to Mohun Bagan. And if I'm involved in Mohun Bagan in any way, I would not also want to take the player back now. Because again, the dressing, I'm also worried about the India dressing room. Because Anwar will have to face some of his now most likely ex-Mohun Bagan teammates in the national team. And there will be conversations about this. And there is going to be the conversation about greed, about envy. It's a big problem. And we've seen the Indian football team, the national team, is a very, very fragile thing at the moment. It's not one team. Manola's first job is try to bring the team together, and this Anwar issue will be another distraction. I'm looking at purely from an Indian football perspective, from a national team perspective. It's another problem that Manolo will have to try and manage. Yeah, it's done. Murali, it's done. There is no way that he will escape. How does the grassroots in US and India different? Do you think information budget is professional? And Murali, we've spoken about this multiple times. The Americans have a great grassroots program. You can play locally. So therefore, no comparison. So according to you, which Indian club academy is serious for youth development can produce good players and good results in Somlan Premier League next year? Aditya, there's no team that can produce real results in Premier next year. It can only be if they're going to be playing, under 16s and we play our senior teams or whatever. We're not good enough. We are playing against some of the future stars of world football potentially, right? We're not good enough. That's the brutal reality of where we stand at the moment. We are not good enough to be able to face these teams that we are playing at the moment in the Next Gen Cup. Sad reality, but a reality, right? That is where we stand at this moment. So we have to find so this is something which we need to understand. As I said, the Blasters are doing certain things right. Thomas Schorsch doing a great job with the reserve team. Goa and BFC are trying. So let's see. This is something which we'll see. So East Bengal is in big trouble. Abhishek, good evening. To me, it looks likely yes. You said last episode football issue is only FIFA, AFC can intervene, in which case court can intervene. I don't know name of like League Super League they take in FIFA, AFC, FIFA court. Your thoughts? It has to remain within football, Mali. So the point here is that FIFA is the custodian of football. You're talking about the European Super League, which took UEFA to court and got certain things straightened out. But there are sports codes in Europe. So India needs a sports jurisdiction. So this is something which we don't have. This is not, again, no disrespect to judges, but if judges don't understand sports and how it operates, how they will make judgments. This is how the problems erupt in Indian sporting bodies, because judges are making calls on sporting bodies without they read the stuff that's written down in the case. Do they understand sports? And then I'm not saying being a sports fan. I'm talking about sports governance. Sports governance is something which is very complex and very complicated. Very few people really understand this around the world. This was done when we were working on the roadmap of Indian football with FIFA and the AFC, that we had one of those guys who really understands how this all works. Otherwise, it will not happen. KBFC versus Mumbai City B-side felt like an Indian club playing against Premier League clubs in the Next Gen Cup. The gap is so big. That is what I'm saying. The young talent needs to be better. Is the next lot better than the old one? They're not. They're not ready. We don't have the Lamine Yamals, who are 16, 17-year-old who can walk into an ISL team. This guy walked into one of the best clubs in the world at FC Barcelona. He is part of a Euro-winning Spanish team at 16, 17. We don't have that talent at the moment, right? Because we're not producing them. I go back to what I love to say. We need to work on grassroots. We need to work on youth football. Our coaching needs to be better. Our competitions need to be better. Otherwise, let's see. Does East Bengal get banned for true transfer or not? Sanskar, to me, as per my logic, there is a 2-month. Apart from salary issue, can anyone terminate contract? Yeah, Molly, if you could be, for example, for mistreatment, for if the club doesn't do for example, they said, listen, we'll give you a flat and a car or something of those kind of things. Those are breach of contracts. On the other side, if the player does certain things, for example, misbehaves, yeah, that's something. So I'm in college. Your channel is growing. Keep it up. Asivi Run Machine, thank you very much. Thank you for following. Thank you for the support. And as always, guys, please spread it. Let's grow the community of people who want to follow Indian football, follow it honestly, and have an honest discussion on the future of Indian football so that we can be better tomorrow. That's, I think, a very, very important thing. And I hope we can have that conversation. And thank you very much for all of you who are following me, who are liking this video, liking my other videos, following the channel. 1397. Thank you very much. 3 more to go to 1400. So please, let's grow the channel and let's keep on growing. Also, if you want to know, I did a video earlier today on the whole, Anwar Ali case. On my explanation on the interim order by the AIFF. You can look up the other videos I did on this topic as well, where I try to explain this whole situation, where I also try and get to the bottom of this, to me. And there are other videos. Again, I did something on Mohammedan Sporting and all. So do watch those videos, support me. Let's grow the community. And thank you. All of you are following. One second. Why am I not able to click on this? Okay, just 1 second. Just 1 second. I just got stuck here. Re-enter the studio. It's still there. Just 1 second. Voila. If I can find 1 second, I just need to go back a little in the timeline. Yeah, sorry. If FIFA bans a country, can only FIFA lift the ban on another system? No. If a country is banned, then only FIFA can lift that ban. Sir, the United SC coach Steve always says that to produce top players at residential academy, minimum 12, 14 years are required. As of now, in the whole India, we have only one residential academy. Again, the longer the better. Residential would be good, but I think again, the problem is you have to also realize the realities of India. And I think he didn't say that you need a residential academy for 12, 14 years. I think the residential part comes in at 11 or 13 from an Indian standard. Before that, I think you should keep your kids at home and you should be playing football locally. But you need that time. You need that time to develop. And that's the challenge we have. Do you think after Anwar deal, others also will want money and they can also demand to go in counter? I think if one thing has happened is I think they will understand that yes, their agents could go out and demand the money, but they're not going to get it, right? You can always re-sign and sign, for a longer term contract. So for me, you can re-sign, but the thing is, they're already getting a lot of money. Does FIFA rule only applies to players? Because can FIFA decide who is the person can appoint as federation person? No. The elections of in a confederation, let's say like AFC or UEFA, or in a country federation like the AIFF, that has to be done internally. If I was the president of AIFF, the first thing I will do will be to make you as general secretary of AIFF, because you know the system and we need people with right knowledge, which you have, sir. Thank you very much. Big honor in that way, but would be a big honor, would be a challenge. But even I would say, if you make me the secretary of the AIFF and allow me to run the system, it won't be easy, because I would have to politically be smart. What I say here publicly, I will not be able to do that. And I have to steer around, the stakeholders. Some stuff has to be said into the face. Some of you have to be politically smart. So that's the challenge I think we have with our football system. If in this case goes to FIFA, then there's a dispute on Anwar's loan deal too, which couldn't be carried out without green flag by FF. Will that put AIFF in trouble too? Monok, the loan deal to me is not the problem. To me, it's rather the deal that Delhi FC has with the player. So the loan deal to me is not a problem. Then the question to me would be is, would Anwar get in trouble? Not, would Delhi FC and Anwar further get in trouble? Chetri scores in both matches of Duran Cup. He still has it. Yeah, I mean, Sunil is Sunil. You know, don't disrespect the legend, right? Again, he might be not as good as he maybe was a few years ago, but yeah, but that's the standard. If a 40-year-old Sunil, and then happy birthday, legend, or rather, I should say, little brother. That's the reality. Any MCFC incoming in the domestic player or all is done? Sanskar, they're trying still to do the one or the other transfer, but it depends on a few things. So let's wait and see if Mumbai City can pull off the one or the other thing that they're working on. But again, I think Mumbai City have done a few things right in the summer, and I think it's an interesting squad. And let's see if Peter Katri can get the squad to work. That's the challenge for Peter. For Peter, the challenge is going to be is if he's going to get this squad to work. He's done exceptional work in the last few months with Mumbai City to make them the ISL Cup winners. Now he has a complete new squad. Some very, very interesting, bright talent. Yeah, let's see. Sir, BFC news on domestic signings. Umair, nothing at the moment. BFC were trying. There were also some conversations that maybe Roshan might leave and they tried to bring in someone else. But at the moment, yeah. Should AIFF also ban themselves for allowing a 5-year loan deal? Manolo, it is a 4-year deal. It's not a 5-year deal. Now, sir, why in you and your Premier League teams physically looking way stronger than our U23 players? Because that's the reality. Our players are not, again, the whole package is not good enough. I think this is one thing we need to learn, to be honest to ourselves. You know, there are people praising the performances. You're playing with kids. You should be embarrassed and say that, listen, we're not good enough. That to me is, you know, very sad, very, very sad. Why PC always sees the players' goodwill? They should also protect the corporates who are injecting CRS money without any gain. Otherwise, they will also withdraw their support from winning football. Guardiola, this Anwar case, I think, is rather an exception. Most of the cases are where clubs, again, if you look at the other cases which were listed, it's all about non-payments of salary. So that very often is the main thing. Anwar Saga export club business, how they are not professional, they just want the players. Yeah, Sanskar. Listen, if you want to talk about ethics, about moral, forget world football. You know, we can talk, forget ethics, forget morals. People are racist, misogynistic, all the things that we talk about general life, all the wrong things. Football shows it. But we still love the game, don't we? And we forget a lot of things. It's like in England talking about racism, about black players. And I say, hey, you've got a bigger problem when it comes to racism. Where are your South Asian players in the British football system, right? No one talking about it. So therefore, you know, everywhere you have a problem in football. The Premier League teams are experimenting with their players, and on the other side, we're trying our best. But the reason that even their mid players are far better than our best youth players. Aditya, the sad part is these are not youth players. Our players are often in their 20s. Again, let's not even go into the topic of age fraud. Right? The kids on the other side want to be Premier League players in the next 5-6 years. Our players, some of them already played ISL. This is the standard of Indian football. That is my concern. This is the standard of Indian football, period. Very sad. It's a prestige fight for both rival clubs. Yeah, King Suba. Very, very prestigious and a reality. Does if FF not remain, the CFG also in contract with MSC, or they remain but just FF will not there? Sanskar, I don't know what the situation would be, honestly. If FF still pull out, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. My biggest concern is the biggest fraud godfather who spread so many fake news regarding this. Maybe the kingpin in this saga most probably won't get any punishment. Let's wait and see, Blue. Let's wait and see what the AIFF does. Again, if it goes to an higher authority, yeah. Whether 5-year loan deal is just. Kaushik, you can't have a 5-year loan deal. 4. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a 4-year deal, but it's fishy, not illegal. Again, it's not fishy. The problem is, again, it's not the ideal contract, but as per law of the game, it's allowed. So what is it? I would never sign a player, on such a long deal, in such a way. I would have, max 2 years. Yeah. One thing I like about you, brutal honesty on Indian football. Thank you, Murali. I try and answer not only your question, but everyone's questions. And if we don't talk about these realities in Indian football will not progress. We need to have these discussions. And I'm trying to push those discussions from my side, at least, the little that I can, with your support. And that's why it's spread out. Take it out to the world. Because otherwise, we will, we could do the same discussion in 10 years and 20 years and we'll be in the same situation. The conversation we're having today on certain things, I've been having now for 25, 26 years. Indian football has not progressed in that way. It looks flashier, it looks fancier, it looks nicer. But has football really improved? No, it hasn't. As I said, club football has, but Indian football hasn't. That's the reality. We have more football than ever before, but we're worse than we were most probably 20 years ago. With all the possibilities and capabilities, and that's sad reality. Oh, sorry. Do you think rivalry is missing in East Bengal versus Kolkata in olden days? But no, I think rivalry got enough. No, the rivalry has always been there. That's the rivalry has been always there. And it's not a two-way, when Mohammedan Sporting used to be more successful, it was a 3-way rivalry. So it's going to be interesting next season. YouTubers and media is dividing West Bengal and Kolkata people. This should stop and get in the low, otherwise it'll get worse. Sanskar, that's what I said. Yeah? Hi, Vaman. Has AIFF compensated too much with his money? Has everything been done and dusted with him finally? Not that I know of. I think the AIFF would put out something, if they've, I think it'll go to court and then will be decided how much they'll have to compensate the coach for. Hi, Pratik. Arunava often says fans shouldn't have power over football management fund, understand while studying Brexit's impact on the economy. For those who don't know, Brexit was decided by public vote. Pratik, very simple. The point here is that look at the UK now and where it was 5 years ago, and then you know that this was the UK's main intent should have been to join the EU, which would have been in interest. Again, look at the whole situation with Ukraine and all. Yeah, there we are. That's what I'm saying. And it's not football fans in India. I say this around the world. There are multiple projects where fans have taken over clubs, where there might have been success in the short term, but in the long term, it never works. Right? And that's a sad reality. Again, the German system, yes, fan power, but nowadays there is a PLC or a stock listed company which runs the football club. And the fans have limited access to controlling the German clubs. Those who have, my favorite example is Schalke. Look what Schalke is. Schalke used to be a Champions League club 5, 6, 7 years ago. Yeah. Bharti Kirangan during Derby nowadays is turning into a war zone. I would have loved to take my kid to stadium, but I can't take that risk. Yes, I consider this as a risk. So unfortunate. I took my son to stadium during East Bengal versus Mumbai City FC, but it's not possible. And Monak, that's the sad part. The good people will no longer go to these games because it is the thugs were there. Sorry to call them out. Right? The so-called Bhodrolog, in Kolkata will no longer want to go to those. And I've got many friends who say, "Why do you go to those matches?" And this, they've not been saying this yesterday. It's been for a while, actually, my friends. I think Mohun Bagan fans become too arrogant, East Bengal fans become desperate, and the social media culture making too much out of the hand. I think that's very well summarized, Blue. Yes, it's a very, that's, and that's the sad part. That's why I said, and I say this, I said this when East Bengal joined the ISF. Be wise and take the right steps to grow. Even now, East Bengal, to me, is not the finished product. They will need another summer transfer window in 25-26 to be a proper challenger for the top. And now if they get a transfer ban, let's see what happens with that. It's an extortion case that Anwar became a pawn. And yeah, Kaushik, maybe that's a nice summary of it. But both clubs are the indirect destroyer Indian football player. Jackson and Anwar versus Thapa, Sahala, Puya, Manvir, this thing can happen in the dressing room. But how Manolo will handle this thing if... See, it's... I think it's not that. It's an East Bengal Mohun Bagan thing amongst the players. But the question is, are the players going to grow and continue to grow as they have in the last few years by going to these big clubs? Apuya, Changte, a perfect example for me how they develop at Mumbai City, because you can calmly, quietly work. Or now that Guite is playing decent football in Next Gen Cup for Ismo in the middle of the park, doing something with the ball, rest are rubbish. Guite has talent, but can he do it at the next level? Right? And nice to have those step overs and all. And I remember World Cup legend, German Bayern Munich World Cup legend once said to me, I said, listen, you don't want a sort of a circus clown doing those tricks on a football field. You want the end result. And that is the challenge that we have, that we need to have the end result. And to me, that is the biggest thing that we will face with these kind of players. Can Guite step up at senior level, become a regular? And at East Bengal, with all the players they've signed in and around the position that he could play, where is the opportunity for the ball? And that's the problem at the big clubs. So all these players, not just at East Bengal or Mohun Bagan, even at Mumbai City, Goa, Odisha, young players, very difficult. I don't think Jason is one of the players where I think, but Anwar versus others possible. Yeah, that's what I said. Dilip, do you think there should be remarkable punishment, for example, for future who's involved in this kind of unjust terminator? I think so. I think you have to create an example in this case. So any Indian youth players who you saw and thought they can make it big in football abroad, at the moment, none. I don't like the Bengali football culture. Bengal doesn't produce any football players, so Bengalis play football anymore. East Bengal want to buy players from around the country, and the fans have ego trips. Yeah, Rohit. Well, I think you've summed it up well, in my opinion. I think it's a problem, So to me, do East Bengal and Mohun Bagan care about Indian football would be my question. But it's not East Bengal. For most clubs around the world, do they care about their national teams? The Premier League is a prime example to me. The Premier League has been successful for decades now, right? It's only that I think in the last decade that the Premier League has produced those kinds of English players which make England a better national team, which can go as far as Euro finals at least. Right? Before that, it wasn't the case. So the question is, how do you as federation and how do you as clubs work together, come together and develop Indian football? I recently saw his tweet replying to someone. Steve said that he needs a fully residential account starting with 6-year-olds and 12 to 15 years. I copied the content in the tweet. Aditya, nice approach, but 6-year-olds, academy, residential, difficult, as I said. Have you fed up of Indian football because of lack of results? By the way, India is not very well developed football nation like Germany, as anyone asked in Germany, because it doesn't have proper growth. See, I hold myself to higher standards, right? I left Mumbai City after 6 months because I thought I'm not going to get anywhere in this system, right? Punjab FC, we also tried certain things. The owner and I didn't agree on certain things. He wanted to do certain things a certain way, and then we part ways. And I'll do that. I will not take up a job for taking up a job. I'm luckily not in that position. I will try and take up jobs where I enjoy myself, have fun, and see it as a challenge. Indian football to me is a challenge, and I would love to, be in a key position and try and build things if people want me. I know that there's a lot of people in Indian football who don't like me, who are fearful of me, because I come with not one, two or three things. One, I always say, is knowledge, an understanding of football, of its rules, of its regulations, of how governance works, and have integrity. And most of these people don't. That's the problem. That's the real problem. Hi, Riser. Thoughts on Indian club performance and Premier Action Cup? I will explain if we think that we can go toe-to-toe with Premier League teams. I didn't expect anything. We're not good enough to play at this level, period. And we have to accept that. Under what Indian Football Academy can learn from Indian cricket academies? Pratik, I don't know how Indian cricket academies operate, so I honestly wouldn't know. And that's the other thing. If I don't know, I don't know. I'll tell you on the face. If I don't know, I don't know. That is something if I can't say. And again, cricket always is a different sport than football. So the focus is different, but I wouldn't know honestly if you ask me. Sorry. They're not even 100 proper ISL level who can come in the national team or close to national team. Most of the big clubs only had good players, but what about small clubs that they does not have or less compared to big teams? Sanskar, that's the problem, right? We're talking about a pool of 50, 60 players who are potentially those who can play for the national team, and we're stuck with that, right? That's the challenge, right? That's the challenge. And again, if people are saying, "Hey, listen, get rid of the older players, get younger players," do you think the younger players are better? The national team can't be a testing ground. Again, yes, maybe the September window could be a testing ground. October, I think that the coach needs to settle for his team. October, November, he said he's going to have matches, right? So therefore, we need to be clear. And our talent pool at the moment is very limited. Maman, the money and greed in Indian football will never end, Arunava. In terms of the Anwar case, this might motivate other players to go this route, but unfortunately, ultimately, I feel the national team can suffer. Yeah, I agree. But I think if Anwar gets a certain punishment, the players will also understand, not only players, but the agents and the clubs who want to sign players, that there are ways of signing. I will not say, if, again, as I said, I would say that I'd rather lose than sign Anwar, to be very honest. Because I would have a problem with this whole health issue around the player. And all these people don't seem to have a problem with this health issue. What happens if something happens on the field tomorrow with Anwar? These people will then be deflecting. Oh, I didn't do this. It happened, right? So that's my concern, right? Winning at all cost. Now, what's your view on Reliance Football Academy? Are they really going in right path? Pratik, I know that that the Reliance Foundation Young Champs has done a good job, be it at the time of Arata. Devin Daniel has been with the program for a while, who I knew was with us at Round Glass Academy. So they're trying to do it the right way. But are they producing better level players who can potentially put us up? I would hope so. But again, you need the competition within India as well. That's the thing where Reliance Foundation is faltering. In Mumbai, the competition is not good enough. Even Mumbai City FC are trying to produce players, but it's not of the level that I think it should be for a club of the standard of Mumbai City. So that's one of the problems. AIFF will audition field players just found age fraud in club level. Everyone trying to get votes from state officials to get elected again. Blue, I think it's another issue. It's in state level competitions, is the database of the CRS being utilized? That's my question. And it is, again, you always build these narratives around things, right? Sometimes it's just pure incompetence. Sorry to say that these things are not checked properly. It is not some conspiracy. Everything is a conspiracy these days. It's not. A lot of these things are happening are just pure incompetence of the people running the system. Period. There is no conspiracy with the state level. I think the AIFF doesn't care about the state. They're doing the state level youth tournaments to please the state association. Are they bothering to check the databases? I don't think so. And Odisha is not the only one. There are multiple ones that certain people have spoken about, where players who have been found overage in AIFF Youth League competitions are now playing for state associations, which again should be a question mark on the state association. A 16, 17-year-old Everton player is getting past the mid-hole defense easily, even though our players are trying to smack him physically, but he's not even budging. Aditya, that's the whole thing now. He's better than all of them. In this whole Anwar saga, only Anwar get affected mentally. Karan, he's not the victim in this. He's the perpetrator. He's part of this thing. It's about money. Is this happening in your football past or going on for a long time right now, Limelight Exposed? It's been happening only since the start of the date we have Indian football. I also felt the same at start, but now I think it is probably because he's believed the wrong person. Blue, I said this from the start, if I'm being honest. So therefore, for me, it's not something where, where I'd say, oh, this has sadly happened to him, right? That's, so therefore, that's the reality, right? So also, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Again, today's video has already, let us count, 46 likes. Let's get it up to 50 for today. 1,400 followers now. Thanks a lot, guy. So that's that. And thanks a lot to all of you who are following. Then thank you for your evaluation. Welcome, Dilip. As I said, I try to be as honest as I can. So yes, I'm trying. Please consider land sportsman. Does it manage all sports, only football? Sports codes normally are implemented by countries in their respective sort of jurisdiction, which falls in line with the Indian International Olympic Association and with respective sporting bodies, global sporting bodies. And and it needs to be implemented. It's something which I've not seen in India. When players perform, poor fans boo players. Fans doesn't know reason for its system and development process of player. Fans don't care. You see, fans don't care why the player is so bad. They want results. Doesn't matter what this is. Do the fans care about the system? No, they don't. Even after knowing the current situation in football, I still want my future kid to become footballer. How stupid am I? You're not stupid, Pratik. You should not be stupid. But you should try and do things differently. If you want your kid to become a footballer, you should try and do things differently. If you pick up certain things that we talk about or other people talk about, you can try and do things differently and try and ensure that your kid becomes a better footballer. So that's the thing. How much money Mohun will get from this saga? I am not clear. I said from the start, I feel that the compensation should be a level of about 8 to 10 crores. Which club is less dependent on foreign player and which club is more dependent on foreign? Sanskar, every club is dependent on foreign players. Tell me a club in the ISL which is not dependent, or even forget ISL, even in the I-League. In next gen, I'm seeing UK kids focusing on basics and playing with discipline full time. Indian youngsters are trying for fancy run or goal. Pratik, our problem is also, we've not spoken about this, what I feel, which I can talk about, is I feel that a lot of our kids are watching too much of football on social media. So they're watching Ronaldo, Messi, Vinny Jr., whatever, doing their tricks. So that's focus on the basics. I say, if your basics are good, you're going to be good. Lamine Yamal does the trick here and there, but he does the football basics right. Punjab has played nice game in Next Gen Cup. Your thoughts? I haven't watched the Next Gen Cup. Sorry, I've just watched a few highlights, so it would be wrong for me to judge it. But if they've done it, it's out of topic question. But having a bachelor and master's degree in mechanical, is there anything I can try and do in the field of football? Maman, yes. In theory, yes. The question is where you want to do it and how. What can you bring to football? And I always say being a fan is nice. That's an added bonus. But just think yourself what you can bring to football. What knowledge do you have? What skills do you have that you can bring to football? And then, you have to try and then potentially do an internship here and there. And that's something that maybe you can get into football. Monok replying to Rohit, yes, Bengal still play football and they play more than any other major states in India combined, except Northeast Kerala, etc. There are a huge number of raw talents, failures of administration. Monok, it's a yes and a no. I think it's underestimated how many kids play football across India. If you say Bengal plays more, I think there are more kids out of own experience play football in Punjab than in Bengal, right? Big state. In Maharashtra, across the state, huge number of kids play. The system is a problem because to me, the IFA is not the Indian Football Association, it's not even the Bengal Football Association. To me, it's the Kolkata Football Association. That, I think, has been the problem of this federation, of this association since its formation. That its main focus has been Kolkata in those days. Now it's Kolkata and its suburbs. But does it care about sort of Central Bengal, North Bengal? That's the question that should be asked. Do you think the AIFF FIFA Academy can do something big with the 20 players this second future? Aditya, I hope, because they have got better level of coaching, and they've been honest about, let's hope this 20 kids going to be better. West Ham team playing against Ismos having Indian or Desi origin physio. Manok, West Ham is located actually in a Bangladeshi community. That side of London East London is very, very Desi. So it could be, Bangladeshi or an Indian or whatever. I know there are some Indians working at West Ham United. I hope so. I hope this academy creates an impact, but don't expect it till tomorrow. It will take 4, 5, 6 years most probably to have an impact. How do you sports management done compared to Asian? It's better, much, much better. Much, much higher quality, much more learning and practical influence. How incompetent can they be that they can't even check data for a few months back? Bro, reality. Indian football, welcome. I think the Ambanis should dissolve ISL and instead buy a first-tier club, invest heavily into that club and focus on players from 800 to generate world-class players. Rohit, the system is not that you can do that and it will not happen. In an Indian context, very difficult, very, very difficult, Matthew. Very, very difficult. It's great to speak about it and think about it. But for me, that's the challenge. Yeah, congratulations, 1K. I'm just seeing, it's gone down to 1399. So someone has unsubscribed. So need one other one. Ranjit Bhai said he wants Anwar to go out Indian League and become Salah of India. Pratik, yeah, your smiley says it all. Dissolving ISL probably end football in India. That's a danger. I feel AIFF and ITA are the worst run sports association in India. Rohit, you're talking about two of the associations most probably doing a better work than most of the others. To me, there are much, much worse sporting federations in India. And that speaks about sports in India, right? So do you think any Indian player is capable of playing in German second, third team? Aditya, I said earlier today in the show, I would love Indian players to come here to Remscheid, sign a contract for a year, 300 euros a month. Let's see how much you play in the sixth year of German football. Reality. ISL end and don't think I-League will replace us in terms of the foreign and Indian players quality. Sanskar, it can't because the money is not then there in the I-League now. Considering an unjust termination, what are the possibilities for East Bengal getting transfer as well as having to pay compensation at the same time for the same sin? What if the angle of inducement not proven? Pratik, there is a contract, a pre-contract in there. So therefore, my opinion, the logic would be a transfer ban. Let's see what East Bengal says. I think East Bengal will try to disown themselves of, hey, listen, we didn't approach Anwar. I think that would be the strategy. Yeah. One match you think Indian football match you enjoyed watching at same time your hopes crushed match? Maybe 2019 AFC Asian Cup, India beating Thailand 4-1. Great, lovely feeling. And losing 1-0 to Bahrain in the 90th minute in 2 matches later. I will not say any match is not get if it's get back to I-League level. Yeah, Blue, I think that there will be a lot of fans. But after one bad match, bad players get booed, but same player get hype. After one match, he should come and national team coach ignore him and another excuse, but they don't want. Wait for the full season game. Yeah, that's what I said, Sanskar, right? That's why I said last season there are multiple examples. That's the reality. People hype them up and then pull them down again. Some clubs send their academy players to, for example, women. Does this actually help them get better, or is it a waste of time? AK3814. Even if it's a 2 or 4 week stint, I think for the player, for Vibin, for Apuya, for others, even a short stint is good because they then realize, I have to work harder to get to a high level, and that's something which is a challenge. So one question, just of course, Sunil sir is made when we put him at global stage, no hit intended. Aditya, Sunil went to Sporting Lisbon and was yesterday talking to my friend who actually enabled Sunil to go to Sporting Lisbon. And the reality is, if you look at Sporting B and Sunil Chetri being there in 2012, Sunil wasn't good enough. Baichung was not good enough in England in the end. So that's the reality. These are the biggest players, 2 biggest players we've had in the last two decades. So, and I think Sunil knows that as well. Sunil, in Indian standards, is the biggest player we've had in the last 10 years. But Sunil is great track record, has been the flag bearer of Indian football. But yeah, that's the reality. Sir, good evening. What's your thoughts about Inter-Kashi football project? It's an interesting one. I wish them all the best. They're doing a lot of things right. And I hope it works. It works for those guys. Friends of mine run Inter-Kashi, so I hope that Inter-Kashi is successful because we need projects like Inter-Kashi. In a state like UP, if you can establish football, wow. Sorry, it's Aston Villa by mistake or West Ham. I know I went to West Ham via Stratford. Yeah, Manak. But West Ham also has Indian staff, I know. And Villa also has Indian staff, yeah. Do you think most of our Indian football plans only in the forms of slide and PR, but implementation not good? Very well said, Molly. Very, very well said. That's the reality. No, it's a PR thing that's happening in Indian football. We're not working on the things. That's the challenge. Before Industrial Revolution and now AI, I guess only sports areas left where human can only predict from non-living beings. That's why sports can be best career choice for future generations. Could be, right? So well said. To which tier of English football would be fair if we compare ourselves to? National League, 5th tier. Even Birmingham is full of Indian origin people. Exactly, Mona. What should Mohammed do in your way after Anwar wants to join East Bengal? What they're doing at the moment, that they're getting the matter sorted by the PSC. If the PSC doesn't sort it, then potentially go to FIFA. Anwar will not return to Mohun Bagan. I think that is very, very clear from today. So therefore, then the question is, what happens? What is in the best interest of Mohun Bagan Super Giants? What is in their interest to do? And that's the challenge where the Mohun Bagan Super Giants has to fight, right? That's the challenge where they need to find a solution. How can we get Bosca driven football? I think that's the first step. Only then clubs can get sustainability, as you said. I think let's try and work on positive things. With this, again, if I look at my timeline and the stories we've done over the last few weeks and months on Indian football, most of them were negative. I rarely have done something positive. That's the sad part. We need a positive timeline of hope, of again, national team with Steamach and all those things. Now this Anwar saga, Hyderabad FC, all these things are negative. That's why I started the Future of Indian Football series. If you haven't, do watch it, enjoy it, guys. Where I try and speak about things that we need to do to change things. So therefore, sustainability was the last video. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. So please support. Parthiv is a good ex-hype for the free matches, who has 3 bangers, but you not remain same for a long time or for season. Yeah, Parthiv Bogwa is a good example. Consistency. I always also like to say consistency of Indian players. For 3 matches, for 5 matches, they might play well. Can they play a whole season good? That's what, for example, makes Chankte at the moment stand out to other players. He didn't have the best of starts in the ISL, but he got better. Now where he is. So what is Inter Kashi vision for the next 5 years? Aditya, they want to establish themselves in Kashi first of all, trying to build a stadium, play there, and build football in UP. Because football in UP per se doesn't properly exist. So that's the vision that they're working on. Whether it's football Olympics, the foreign players have only one question: that how they're with 1.4 billion population, you can't even have some at least 2 win medals of football. So yeah, Aditya, that's a reality, right? So that's a challenge. I know that pre-Olympics, a lot of people said, uh, um, that India is going to do this, India is going to do that in the Olympics. Where are we? I said if India can get to 10 medals, that would be a success. So we're stuck there. When will Musa do live in the future and during the playoffs, or has to start or tomorrow? Sanskar, you would have to ask him. I wouldn't know what Musa's plans are at the moment, and I know he was on the road in India, and let's see. Arunava, just curious which projects you're currently working on related to Indian football. Patik, I'm working on 2 projects at the moment, but I can't openly speak about them at the moment. Then why we don't send our academy players to Europe and have them get better? AK 3814, because that's not allowed. You have to be 18 plus and be signing a professional contract to play in Europe. Will you come back in the Mumbai City FC? Sanskar, at the moment, doesn't look likely, but I don't know. Maybe in the future. Yeah, I'm open to it. Why not? I still, from my perspective, I think I have unfinished business. I wasn't happy with what we achieved or didn't achieve rather in season 1. I think we had, if I look back, I tried my best because we didn't have a coach at the time. I sat in the domestic draft. I think on paper, we have the best Indians. We brought in very good foreigners as well, but we couldn't make it work. So that's one thing. Yeah, unfinished business. One day, I would love to go back to Mumbai City and do a few things maybe differently than what I did in the past. I don't take myself out. I've done mistakes myself. So yeah, that's something which I would love to see. Aritra, a legal consultant of the Indian law firm references action as not an inducement by West Bengal to Anwar on a said YouTube channel, majorly biased East Bengal. You know who is man. Okay. Listen, Aritra, again, I'm not going to go into narratives. Let people, to me, as I've said from the start, to me, it doesn't matter who's done it, why has done it. It could have been X, Y, Z. I will at least say what I think is right and what is wrong. So that's the reality. And to me, in this case, the player has done it wrong. If the club had done it wrong, I would have called out Mohun Bagan. I would have called out any other club. And that's why I said I was what I said from day one. That is the outcome of the PSC. Nobody said that. I can say that. Watch the first video I did on him. Watch the first live that when we started talking about this. But I'm not a superhuman. I can also say something wrong. If I don't have all the facts, maybe, or if I could interpret something wrongly, yeah, I'm not a superhuman. But these people will never say that they've done something wrong. Everything that they've done in their life is right. So that differentiates me from these people. 1.4 billion people, but our Indian government doesn't focus on sports. But I think that's the reality. They do these, they will now do a lot of gimmicks in regard to the athletes that have won medals. But how do you get there? That's the big thing. And that's what Sunil said. What's your role in a football club? Aditya, I've had different roles with different clubs or federations. I'm more now into advisory roles and consulting. I've been CEO of Mumbai City FC. I've been a strategic advisor to Round Glass Punjab in its setting up phase. Yeah, so therefore, there's some of the roles that I've had. But how does a legal consultant of the Indian civil law comment on football law set by FIFA? Aritra, you would have to ask that legal consultant. And again, my question then would be, does he understand the laws of the game? No, then that's what I realized around the whole FIFA ban thing. Most of the people don't understand how football law of sports work. You're talking about people who've been part of the Supreme Court, right? That is the shocking part. Population is overrated. Words for judging one country, agree or not, because this not tell the whole country story. Means some country with small do good and some with big population does not do good. Yeah, Sanskar. But again, I look at China and the success of China. That's another side. FIFA rule is superseding the law of land with respect to the game. Yeah, Aritra, very well. You've understood it now. This is what I've said. Law of the land is not higher and above law of sports. Law of sports is the higher entity, and this is something why we got a FIFA ban. Would have loved you at Bagan. Thank you, Ripam. More population means more resource and more chance to produce good athletes, as one will have a large pool, but that requires a lot of work, and our government won't do it. Just look at China; they're top of Olympics. Yeah. Please come back and Mumbai City FC. We need your help in youth structure. Thank you, Sanskar. But again, it's not my decision. It's a decision of the owners, or it's a decision of City Football Group. So let's see. As I said, never say never. It might happen one day. And again, I have great memories, but I also have some sad ones. With some losses, which were tough. And again, as I said, not everything I did and when I was there was right. And maybe, as I said, not maybe, I would do certain things differently, and I would do certain, I'm now 10 years older, 10 years more experience. So therefore, I would handle a few things in a different way than I did in those days. Right, nearly 2 hours, guys. Speaking about Indian football, those of you who haven't, please like this video. Share it as well. 52 likes. Thanks a lot. 1,399 followers have dropped below the 1.4K. So one of you guys who is still not subscribed, do subscribe. So we move to the 1K and grow the community, as I like to say, of people who are following. Thank you very much. And as I say, this is to be successful in sports, we should start with schools. Proper sports education, coaching center. Sports is not a priority in school. That's the reality. Sports, and then forget football as such. Let's generalize it. It's not there. I think sports league will increase Olympic medal. Maybe any future badminton leagues popular can suddenly change badminton. Sanskar, badminton is, again, there are individual team sports where I think leagues are not important. It's a question of competitions. Badminton, again, don't try and copy the IPL model in individual sports. It might be nice, but it doesn't work. I don't think it'll work for a badminton or a tennis or a table tennis in a way that will work maybe in a football, in a volleyball, in a basketball. It should be right. So we need to be differentiating these things. Chinese government puts lots of efforts on hot topics. Sometimes they get good results, sometimes not. Look into the fancy empty city projects or Chinese league. They're great examples of failures. Pratik, the Chinese Super League to me is not an example of failure of China, but it rather shows you how overheated the Chinese corporate market got. And these corporates, of course, again, 16 teams pulled out of the Chinese Super League out of the 3-tier 48-team league system. And because the corporates went bust. That is the problem of Chinese football. And the Chinese, again, Bob Houghton used to say that Bob Houghton is the only one person to have coached both the Chinese and Indian national teams. For me, Bob Houghton said the creative side of football is forgotten in the Chinese because the Chinese are so, they've got their way of doing things. And that's why they're successful. In table tennis, I don't know, there was this weird figure that you do the same shot X number of times. They do that in badminton as well, in other sports as well. That's why Chinese are in team sports not as successful as in individual sports. But we need to find our own Indian way to do it. Students don't even get PT period every week. As physical teacher wants students to study. Remember, I used to have one PT period in a month. Rest were taken by other, and in that one period, they would make us sit in the room where only TT is available. Yeah, that's a problem. Teacher takes sports lecture and tech maths. Yeah. We should stop comparing past and say why Indians compare with to get good feeling about us. Compare with China, we are nothing. Yeah, that's the reality. That's the reality. Listen, guys, over 2 hours of talking on what's next in the Anwar Ali versus Mohun Bagan Supergiant saga. And of course, I try to answer everything as well. As I said, like this video, share this video, subscribe to arunfoot. Let's keep on growing the community. 53 likes. Thanks a lot. We'll get a few more, I guess, before tomorrow. 1399 still. So I'm still one short of the 1400. And you know, and therefore, I think this is Punjab Everton 1-1. Yeah, but what's the value of those results, right? As I said, and thank you, Vaman, and you're already saying it. Good night, Blue, as well. Hope to be back tomorrow. Yes, I will be, and I'll do another topic overnight. Let's see which one I'll do on the shorter videos. To watch the one that I've created on the Anwar Ali PSC interim order verdict. And those of you who haven't, as I said again, like, share, and subscribe. Good night, everyone.